Wrestlepalooza takes place this Saturday in Indianapolis, Indiana at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, which is the name of the arena which will host the event. And this is the second PLE this year to take place in Indianapolis. The first one was the Royal Rumble back in February, which took place at Lucas Oil Stadium. That was the biggest crowd of the year. You had well over 60,000 people for that event. You're not going to get anywhere close to that, but I think this might be, it won't be as viewed as a Rumble, but it's going to be one of the biggest events of the year in terms of viewership because this is WWE's debut on ESPN. The new ESPN app, WWE is going to be debuting their first PLE on ESPN on the app in the United States. Now, for viewers like myself who are outside of the United States, I will be getting to watch it on Netflix, so I don't have to fork over an extra $20 like some of the American fans have to. That being said, you can still... I'm just quoting the great Stephanie McMahon. If you don't want to spend the extra money, there's always a VPN, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so you have this ESPN show. I would expect some surprises. I don't know if we're going to get The Rock. Probably not, but I would expect a couple surprises here. This is a big show for WWE. This is one of their biggest debuts. This is the biggest debut they've had since the Netflix special, which debuted, Raw's debut on Netflix on January of this year. This is probably the biggest debut since that. And this doesn't feel like as big of a show as that was, but this does feel like a special show. Another comparison would be when SmackDown debuted on Fox in 2019. That was another big event. This does have that type of atmosphere, which will make a show unique and will make it special. And I'm interested to see how ESPN will present the show. Even though I don't get the ESPN feed, I'm interested to see how the show looks, how it's presented, if it's any different. Now, we have 5 matches set up here. The opening match, as it's been confirmed now, this will be the first match of the night. And this doesn't surprise me because they want as many people watching as possible when it debuts, and this is the biggest possible match. It's possible if you have another match like the Usos match or something like that, people might lose interest and not watch the rest of the show, but everyone's going to watch right away to watch this match, which is the main event. That happens to be the opener. It is the main event. I don't care what anyone says. It's John Cena taking on Brock Lesnar. This is the match we all want to see. This is a super match. I've heard some people on social media say that WWE is putting this out there, so just in case the AEW All Out show goes on long, people will have to stop watching that and immediately tune into the WWE show. Maybe that's true, maybe not, but we got the main event in the opening match. John Cena, Brock Lesnar. I don't know how many times they've wrestled. I think Brock has the winning record because they wrestled a few times when Brock was during Brock's first run at the company, and of course Brock went over Cena in those years because he was the much bigger star and pushed at a much higher level. They didn't start pushing Cena really until several months after Brock had already left the company in 2004. But I mean, it's kind of almost some ways a trilogy match because they had that classic match at Extreme Rules in 2012. Which Cena won. Everyone thought Brock would win. Cena ended up winning. And then they had the squash match, another famous match. One of the most famous matches in the history of SummerSlam, man. A very memorable match when Brock Lesnar destroyed John Cena in SummerSlam in 2014. Squash match. They had another match at the United Championship, but that was a DQ. Then they had that great triple threat match that involved Rollins, who got pinned at the Rumble in that triple threat in 2015. But this kind of, in some ways, since Lesnar's return, there's been 2 major matches. This kind of feels like the third one, the trilogy. I think John Cena has to win. I don't think Brock Lesnar is winning this match. I don't think anyone wants Brock Lesnar to beat John Cena right now. A lot of people really don't like Brock. I think it's a mistake to have him go over Cena. Everyone loves Cena. I think Cena will win. I think it'll be a good match. It won't be too long, probably like 15 minutes. It won't be one of those Brock Lesnar sprints that goes like 5 minutes. He hits a whole bunch of German suplexes, hits the F5, the other guy hits their finisher. It won't be anything like that, but it will be more of a faster pace than usual. I think it goes 15 minutes tops, and John Cena will defeat Brock Lesnar probably after about 3 or so AAs. I think Cena beats Lesnar and beats him in his final match. I think that will open the show, and I believe John Cena will be victorious. And ESPN starts off on the right foot. The first match, John Cena beats Brock Lesnar. Everyone is happy. That's how we start off. That's how WWE starts off their relationship with ESPN. It starts off on a high note. Cena gets the feel-good win. Now, we have the mixed tag team match. We have CM Punk and AJ Lee against Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. So, I'm not sure if this has ever happened before where you have two married couples in a mixed tag team match. There's been several matches in the past in which the married couple is on one team. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon have teamed up before. That's an example. And I know Mark Mero and Sable, by the way, is now married to Brock Lesnar. That's another example of it. But I don't think you've ever had a situation where you have both teams have a married couple. And we have that here. So I think Becky's been great on the mic, I have to say. I think she's been really much a hateable heel. Seth, I think I'm just not a fan. I'm not a big fan. Punk's been very good, and AJ's been very good. She's definitely the big baby face here. So 10.5 years or so for AJ Lee. This is her first match. I think the last match she had was on the Raw after WrestleMania 31, if I believe. And this is a big match for her. It's a big match for all four of those involved. It's going to be a big matchup. It'll have a lot of heat here. There's going to be a lot of AJ Lee chants, a lot of Punk chants. I think Becky will be the most hated of the four in this match. I think you have to go with the baby faces here. CM Punk and AJ Lee are going to win. They're not going to have AJ lose in her first match in 10.5 years. The faces win, and I think AJ Lee will submit Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch will submit to the Black Widow in this match, and CM Punk and AJ Lee are victorious, and then it builds to CM Punk eventually challenging Seth Rollins again for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think eventually they have to go inside the Hell in a Cell. That's exactly how Punk ended his feud last year with Drew McIntyre in that great Hell in a Cell match. I think the same thing needs to happen here where Punk and Seth end their feud inside Hell in a Cell. But that probably won't be till October. Maybe at the Crown Jewel show, we don't know. But for this match, I'm picking CM Punk and AJ Lee to win. And right there, the two biggest matches are already done, in my opinion. So we also have the tag team match. You have Division, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed taking on the Usos, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. I think Jimmy Uso is such a jobber right now, and they've pinned Bronson Reed so many times that I don't think they should lose here. I don't think they want to keep pinning Bronson Reed because they have high hopes for him. And there's no way Bron Breakker's getting pinned. I don't think there's really any way Jey Uso's getting pinned. I think it probably ends with Bron Breakker pinning Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso's a jobber. They could have LA Knight get involved. Something's going to happen here. I think you'll have some interference. Probably you'll have the most interference of any of the matches in this one. And I think LA Knight will probably play a factor. I'm going with the Vision to win. I think Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed win. And plus, it's WWE's debut on Netflix. I think they're going to want to have Bron Breakker featured in a strong way. And I think he'll probably pin Jimmy Uso. So I'm picking Division to win this match. And this will be the first match the Usos have had together as a tag team in about 2.5 years. I think at that Money in the Bank show in London in 2023. So it's been a while since they've teamed together. And that's later when they did the big split after when Jimmy would turn on Jay at that following SummerSlam. So it's been a while since they've teamed. I think they're going to lose here because I think it makes more sense for the story. And Vision will get the win here. And also because Seth is going to lose his match, in my opinion, I don't think they want to have Division get completely swept for the night. So I think Division gets this win here. And we might see Paul Heyman back. You never know. Next, we go to the Women's World Championship on the line as Io Sky, the former champion, takes on Stephanie Vaquer, who earned her title match at Evolution back in July. So it's been a long wait for Stephanie Vaquer. She was supposed to face Naomi at Clash in Paris, but of course Naomi gets pregnant, the title gets vacant, and here we are, Stephanie Vaquer, Io Sky, and what I think will probably be the match of the night because these two, it's ESPN, it's their debut, they want to feature women's wrestling, they're going to get time. I think they'll get a lot of time. There's only 5 matches, and I think they're going to let them tear the freaking house down. This is going to be one of the best women's matches of the year. I think it'll be on the level of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky at Evolution or Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair in that great triple threat match at WrestleMania this past year. It's going to be an all-time women's match. It's going to be a classic. I think how they're building up this story, it just makes all the sense in the world for Stephanie Vaquer to win. And I really don't want to see interference. I think we see interference just too much in WWE over the last couple of years, to be honest. But I think this has to have interference based on the story that they're telling, and that involves Asuka and Kairi Sane with Io Sky. So Asuka is upset that Io Sky is friends with Stephanie Vaquer. She's really upset that Io Sky is friends with Nikki Bella, and she's extremely upset that Io Sky is good friends with Rhea Ripley. So she hates all the women who Io Sky is friends with, and Asuka only wants her to associate with Kairi and herself, and they have Kairi saying kind of conflicted here. I just think it makes sense for Asuka. I don't think Kairi will do it, but I think Asuka will inadvertently cost Io Sky the match, and it'll be a slight distraction. It won't be like a total heel turn. I think the turn probably comes on the following Raw on Monday, but I think it'll be something where they inadvertently cost Io Sky the match, and Stephanie Vaquer wins. So your new Women's World Champion on Saturday night at WrestlePalooza will be La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer. Now we go to what I think probably is the main event. I think it makes sense because it's the title. If John Cena and Brock Lesnar aren't the main event, this really just should be the main event. The undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes defends his title against Drew McIntyre. I don't think there should be interference here. I don't think Randy is going to cost Cody the match. I don't think The Rock's coming. The Rock's not going to cost Cody the match. Should be a very good main event. I'm interested to see the fan reaction. Indianapolis is the kind of city I think will probably be pro-Cody, but there could be an anti-Cody sentiment. I'm not sure, and Drew is kind of more of a popular heel in some ways, although he's had some heat on him the last month. It'll be really good. There'll be a lot of false finishes. It'll be exciting. They'll have a great main event. Cody Rhodes, I think, wins this match. I don't think Drew's winning at all. I don't think there's really much of a shot for Drew. He loses every big match. I think around 2 years ago now was when he lost that awful Clash at the Castle match. I mean, it was an amazing match with Roman Reigns, but it was just an awful, devastating, heartbreaking, gut-crunching, heartbreaker. It was a horrible loss he has suffered. And, he had that loss last year at Clash at the Castle in Scotland, his home country, when CM Punk screwed him out of the belt against Damian Priest. So, he always loses these big matches, it seems like. And there's WrestleMania last year when Damian Priest cashed in on him. Drew always loses. Cody seems to most of the time win, unless it's WrestleMania. That's really the only time Cody loses a big main event match on a PLE is if it's a WrestleMania. All other times it seems like he wins. I just think Cody Rhodes is going to win this. I don't think Drew's winning. Cody retains the undisputed WWE Championship, and that's how WrestlePalooza ends. Big show for WWE. It's probably, I would say, their fourth biggest show of the year. It feels like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam. This is probably number 4. This will end up being probably a bigger show than Survivor Series. Definitely it feels like a bigger show than Money in the Bank was. This is definitely a big-time show for WWE. Their debut on Netflix, and they want to make this an annual tradition where it feels like a big show, WrestlePalooza, which is a former ECW pay-per-view name. And then WWE has ECW, they own it, so they took the WrestlePalooza name. And we'll see what happens this Saturday. It's a big show. Yeah, I'm not watching on ESPN, but I understand because it's WWE's debut, it's going to feel like a special event, if you will. So looking forward to it, and hopefully WrestlePalooza delivers this Saturday.